Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. Have you ever come across something and you feel like you learn about it and all of a sudden you're like, that's exactly, what I've been looking for? Well, that's how I felt when I first learned about 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group. It's an incredible partnership group that gets together and they golf and they do lessons too. Really? All in one place? Well, we're going to talk to the creator of it, but first, let me give you a taste of what it's like.
If you're taking the lesson, Jeff will be leaving from that right side. And then off the golf course at about 9:20 and breakfast up here at about 9:30. So have a great morning, beautiful morning, and we'll see you at 9:30. Thank you so much.
Rich Rogers, the founder of 6 Degrees Networking Group, setting members and guests in motion. The participants representing multiple industries, but they all have one thing in common. They're all CEOs.
You called the weather center this morning. It said due for rain this morning. You were like, no, 6 degrees today. They thought, because they didn't know the calendar changed from last week to this week.
It never rains at 6 degrees.
Rich has taken the value of networking on the golf course to another level. While we all know business is conducted on the green, many professionals don't know where to begin when it comes to playing the game.
Everybody does networking. The question is, where do they go? And a lot of people end up coming home after going to a networking event and just wasted 2 or 3 hours of their entire lives. And what I wanted to do is create a platform to where people came to an event at a beautiful facility to not only enjoy the event itself, but to meet great people.
And what did you find in these great people?
I found out that great people introduce you to great people. And that's the actual essence of 6 Degrees Golf, and that's what made it grow.
6 Degrees isn't just for golfers, but those who wish to learn how to play as well.
I come right back down where I started, or slight modification. Leading edge scratches the grass, makes a slight... Today in 6 Degrees, today's topic is pitching. Your visual should be that they flew the ball further in the air than the ball rolled into the hole.
Basically, that's it, yeah. There's some techniques that we teach to make sure your grip is right, your stance is right, and everything that helps that. But that's basically the shot. You don't move your head, you just turn a little bit. So you can drag the club right straight down.
When I came in, it was just such an amazing experience with so many amazing people and business owners that have so much success. So I've been able to meet people that have helped me in a lot of aspects of my journey, whether it was from buying my first house or finding doctors that I never would have had access to.
I've been coming here long enough now that it took me 2 years. Most people can do it in 1. But if you come every single month, you start with putting lessons and you end with the driving lesson. You literally, from beginning to end, get the opportunity to, now you still got to go to practice it, right? But that opportunity from beginning to end to learn how to play the game of golf. And then the goal is at the end of the year, if you're good enough, you can go play a round of golf here. And so some of the people that don't take the lessons will play 4 or 5 holes. So it's a quick morning and it's just a lot of fun.
We can take an absolute novice, somebody who can't even spell golf, bring them out on the golf course, and within a short period of time, they'll have the ability to buy a set of golf clubs, they'll know how to hold it, they'll know how to not embarrass themselves if they go out on the golf course.
Come on, kick right. All right. for giving us the line, ladies.
I've been here now about 10 or 11 years, and it's just a terrific business model, combining the golf with the networking, and it just really has worked and has made networking fun. So for probably the first 5 years, I did nothing but take lessons here, because I just felt that that was the best place for me, and how often do you get a chance to take private lessons? So after about 5 years of taking lessons, I then felt confident enough to be able to go out and play. And the nice thing about 6 Degrees is it gave me enough confidence in my game to be able to play in corporate events where, I'll never be the top players, but it again allows me to get around with the group and not slow them down, and has helped me from a networking standpoint that way. So it's been terrific.
It's unlike any other networking event I've been a part of. I love how we get to truly engage, spend quality time out in the course instead of in a conference room. And I love the outdoors personally, so I think it's one of my favorite networking groups, and I find it to be very effective.
Business evolves from relationships, and when you have something in common with somebody, be it golf or learning how to play the guitar or learning how to play the piano, people from the same church as you go to, when you have that common thread, that's what develops a relationship, and that's how you create business.
After working up an appetite from playing golf, they returned to a full breakfast buffet, and yes, more networking.
Good morning, I'm Drew D'Alberto with Winners Award Group. I put your logo on anything and everything. Right now I'd love introductions to financial advisors or attorneys because they need apparel, they need gifts, they need signage, they need all the things that we do at Winners. Winners Award Group, we got your swag.
Members and guests get the opportunity to introduce themselves so everyone knows who's in the room. Then 2 people come prepared to share their business, organization, charity, and more.
So Bill Mahoney and a handful of really great people wanted to create a safe space, a safe harbor for these kids to be able to live and stay. We're on about 8 acres of land in Pembroke Pines, so we basically keep them safe and give them hope. Really give them hope, give them the tools, give them the things that we've all been blessed with in this room. And a lot of the kids that come to us, they obviously come broken.
So the opportunities we have with the folks that are in the room, 40 to 50 business owners that are really, everybody's super connected. And for me to have this time to be able to present what Children's Harbor does and some of the initiatives, especially the Learning Center that we currently have had in place now for probably about a year, and the impact we're making with our young teens is just unbelievable. Most of everybody, after we showed the video, could actually see the impact that our staff is making with our kids, and all the folks in here that I've known for a good amount of time are definitely all in.
So the go-giver mentality is what I really try to employ here. And that's not about getting business, it's about helping people create new business.
If you're interested in learning more about the 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group, go to 6degreesgolf.com. So joining me now to talk more about 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group is Rich Rogers. He is the founder of this incredible organization. Rich, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for inviting me, Jacqueline. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us more, about the 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group? What led to this? Why did you start this?
Why did I start it? Well, when I started networking, many, many years ago, there was no structured networking groups in South Florida. No BNI, no nothing. The only thing that I was really doing was going to your typical chamber meetings. As we all know, each city has a chamber. And then we found out what our favorite chamber is. Mine happened to be Hollywood, because I live in South Broward. So it was an easy commute. And then, you find other places to go to, and there's not a lot, but there was just a few. So I started going to these places, and they had all these mixers and these other events.
And the thing that I really kind of got turned off on every time I was going to a networking group, I felt like everybody was trying to sell me something, you know, whether it be, you know, car insurance or you name it. And I used to leave these places and, you know, you get there at 6 and you're going home at 9 o'clock at night and you just really had a horrible time. So I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I was actually on a business getaway up in Atlanta with a company that I was working with, you know, back in the 90s. And I heard Ivan Misner, the creator of BNI, talk about, you know, Business Network International. And I never heard anything like it before. And I went up to him after his talk. He had about an hour talk, and it was really interesting. And I went up to him and I told him I was interested. He asked, where do I live? He gave me the executive director's name and phone number. And he says, hey, I only have one BNI group in all of South Florida. He says, why don't you talk to Cynthia? And we formed a relationship. And I started the second, or by this time, maybe the third group in all of Broward County.
For BNI?
Yeah, a BNI.
Wow.
Yeah. And now there seems to be a BNI chapter on every corner. You know, back then, nobody knew what BNI was. And, you know, because I knew so many people, I grew it very quickly. And to the point where Ivan Misner actually called me and says, what are you doing? He says, nobody in the country has gotten it to 50. You know, nobody can get it past 20 or 25. And I gave him my recipe. And so I did that for a few years. And there was a lot of really great things about BNI that I really liked, but there was a couple things that I didn't like. And the weekly meetings are tough, you know, and I was very diligent on going to every single one. But in order to develop relationships with high-end owners of companies, most of them are not going to show up to a weekly networking group. You know, they may go monthly or whatever, but to come 50 times a year, it's just not going to happen. So the people that I wanted to attract, I couldn't. And I got a little frustrated with that. And then the other thing I really didn't like about it is if you happen to get the wrong person in the group, it was hard to get them out, you know, and there was this is prior to LinkedIn and all the social media places that we go to today. So I left and I drew up a sketch of what I thought I'd liked a networking group to be like. And I incorporated golf because I'm a former professional golfer and golf is my passion. Golf is what I live for. And
that's an understatement. He's downplaying it.
And all of my clients, I do employee benefits as my real job. And all of my clients, the owners, partners, corporate officers, all play golf, you know, so you have that common thread. And I said, hey, why don't we build a networking group for owners of companies that have an interest in golf? And it could be they play golf or they want to learn how to play golf. Because as you know, Jacqueline, we have a whole learning mechanism planted on the platform. So that was
what attracted me.
Yeah, you know, that's what you said.
Like you had all these clients, golfing clients, and so do I. And even before then, I wanted to play, but it was just getting out there. Where do I start? Which course do I go to?
Right.
Which club do I hold?
Yeah.
And you have all the answers.
You know, we did because I know golf. And what I did is I partnered with a teaching professional at Grand Oaks Golf Club in Davie, just west of the Fort Lauderdale Airport. And him and I, you know, drew up a curriculum many years ago, about 15 years ago. And we abide by that on a monthly basis. And we change it from now and then if people want to see certain things. I have an idea what should be in there. But you're right.
if people want to learn how to play golf, they don't know where to go. And then they don't know who to talk to. And they don't know, I don't have clubs. So most people who want to learn how to play golf don't have clubs. We supply them. So if the lesson this month is short irons, and your short irons are your 9-iron, 8-iron, 7-iron, and we'll actually have them to hand out for the guests and the members who come who don't have clubs or forgot to bring their clubs or whatever. So it really is a great mechanism to teach people the game of golf, and grow the game, locally, because this is our 20th year, and I have taken 100 people who had an interest in playing golf, and today they own their own golf clubs. They've joined a golf club. They play golf with their spouse or their friends or their significant other. And before they joined 6 Degrees Golf, they never played golf. So we've kind of we really have grown the game locally, which is a byproduct of the networking organization that I never thought would happen. I thought it would just attract all golfers.
Right.
But people want to network, and they want to network with owners of companies. Everybody wants to get their business to the next level. I don't care what kind of numbers you did last year. Everybody wants to do more this year. And the only way you can do that is to meet, good quality people that will help you do that, because we're big believers in the go-giver method, which is to help others instead of trying to get business for yourself. And it goes back to those first couple networking groups that I used to go to, where I felt like everybody was trying to sell me. It just wasn't for me, So when I meet someone, the first thing I really try to find out is what they do. And then I try to connect the people that I know, because I've been doing it for so long and I met tens of thousands of people. I can, as a lot of people call me, a super connector, whatever that means. But it just because I've been doing it for so long and I've met so many people, that I know how to, really change somebody's practice by getting the correct people in front of them. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. And, I being there, and, some of the people I have known, and I can tell you, I mean, even in the short time that I've been a part of the 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group, I have already connected them with other people, and the other way around. During the Newsworthy Stories, Bring Your Business to the Beach. One, you were there, which was great. And Andrew D'Alberto was there, right?
My little brother.
Then they became a sponsor. And then I, also connected with Ariel Levitt, another networking, right?
That's right.
So the Ripple Networking Group. And it was really, she's the one who introduced me to you again, because we found out, we realized after talking to Rich that I had actually put Rich in a story last year. And I was like, wait, Rich, I think you're in my video.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
So we were still connected. That's 6 Degrees, right?
Yeah. And that was the event. That was the event that Janelle Kelly put on.
Janelle and Sam Gamble.
And Sam, yeah.
And so that was their boot camp, And so, the people that I have met in your group have been even though very accomplished, they're very down to earth. They're people who are looking to connect, but also wanting to offer as well as, receive, if you will,
Right.
just like the story stated. So I'm going to, talk to me about the people in that great network that you have.
Yeah, so it's built through people. The secret sauce that I found out is pretty simple, is that great people will introduce you to great people. It's really that simple, but it's very complicated because you really have to find great people. That's the hard part. And you do that methodically every single day. If you meet one person every single day, or or 2 people a day, if you met 2 people a day for 50 weeks out of the year, I mean, it turns into a lot of people. That's 500 people a year that you meet. But over 10 years, it's 5,000. And over 20 years, it's 10,000 people. So getting the right people in is key. And today with LinkedIn, I'm able to get a name, go online, check out their profile, find out who they're linked in with. And then I actually reach out to people to find out what kind of a person is Jim Jones, let's say, hypothetically using a name. Is he a good guy or gal? Has he been in business for a while? Have you known him for a long period of time? And when I get good, positive feedback from people that I know, honestly and truly, it's a wonderful thing. And then what we do is we just do a simple text introduction, whatever, talk to them on the phone, invite them to an event, and then I kind of see how they blend in with our members. And if they're good communicators and if they want to help other people, then we actually ask them to join. And but if not, we just don't, bring anybody in. We're very particular about who we bring in. So there is a methodology, but it's all done through the members. I don't do any advertising. I don't do anything on social media. It's all, by word of mouth. Like we talked about, I met you through Ariel. Ariel, I met through Drew. Drew, I met through someone else. And, you can go back to these lineage and you can kind of figure out all the people that you met through other people. But the key is to really get surrounded by great people. And that's what I feel like I've done. And that's my biggest accomplishment.
You know what else you've done? What you've also done is that you don't do it in a hurry. So that morning, you have to block out a morning. And, that's kind of what, my Bring Your Business to the Beach was about. It was blocking out a good set of time so you can actually have dinner together, if you will. You're having breakfast together and it's a spread. It's a spread out of this world. The facility is beautiful. The course is gorgeous, right?
Really
but
is.
It's the time.
Yeah.
And, the time that we have to actually network. You come there with a different mindset because you're not in a hurry. You're not rushing.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The
And
thing I like
so-
about it the most is, we all meet there in the morning at 7 a.m. And, I always say this.
Yes, 7 a.m.
If you can get a non-morning person to a 7 a.m. event, you're doing something a little special, which is wonderful. But we meet in the clubhouse from 7 to 8, and then we actually leave the clubhouse, go outside. And as we all know, 50 weeks out of the year, the sun is always shining. Some mornings it's 90, some mornings it's 70. But it's always beautiful out on the golf course. And we change venues and then we come back inside and we have a full buffet breakfast. And then we go into the speakers and we go around the room. But you're right. People who come at 7 a.m., you leave at 11. So it's a full morning, but it goes fast because you're not stuck in a hotel room for 4 hours or whatnot. I mean, you can leave venues, you can walk around, you can talk to different people. And so it is different in that respect. I totally agree.
Yeah, and it's a great crowd. Many of the people that I interviewed, brought up, the way that you vet people and that you're not bringing anyone in. And we even had that conversation, simply that you don't want that bad egg in there that's going to disrupt the whole thing. Yeah. And you have done it so well. I've enjoyed everyone that I've met there, and I continue to get to know people. So and their coaches are great. I love the golf coaches that you have there.
Yeah, Jeff's wonderful, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I met Jeff at the Broward County Amateur in 1987. I'm kind of dating myself here. He was a 21, 22-year-old kid out of college, all-American golfer 3 years in a row. And I met him in a practice round through a friend. He ended up winning the golf tournament.
Really?
And then poof, he was out of my life because he tried to play on tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I walked into the pro shop 25 years later, and who's standing there? Jeff Butler. And he goes, I know you. So it's funny that now, I'm using, this teaching professional that I met decades ago, but he's a warm and genuine person. He's very thoughtful. He wants to help people. He's a great teacher.
Thorough, very thorough. Too.
Very thorough. That's a good word. But also what people do is they hire Jeff privately.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go to him, on their own time and do a one-on-one, coaching with Jeff. And look, I played professionally for a little while, so I'm a little better golfer than most people. And I use Jeff as my coach.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have problems going on, there's always problems in the golf game.
Yeah.
I got a guy to go to, and I know he'll pretty much, fit me in whenever I want.
So let's this is my last what do you want people to understand most about 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group? And we've been running the website across the bottom, but what do you want them to know about you most, or about the group itself?
Yeah, well, we're looking for owners, partners, corporate officers of companies. There is one category per profession. So one CPA, one estate planning attorney, one insurance guy or gal, so on and so forth. And the most important thing is we're looking for givers. When you go to a networking group, there's givers and takers, and the takers are the ones that are trying to sell you. The givers are the ones that are trying to help you. And every single person in our organization is a giver. And if I find out different, then there's some kind of recourse that we can take. But they're vetted so well before they come in that I kind of know, their DNA and their personality. So if you want to come to a networking group to meet some wonderful people, to get your business to the next level, and you either play golf or you want to learn how to play golf, 6 Degrees Golf is the way to go.
Absolutely, 100%. And maybe you'll be twinsies like us. We didn't even try, and we're twins. So yeah, it's a great time. I definitely recommend 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group and Rich Rogers. He's world class.
Thanks, Jacqueline. I appreciate it.
Absolutely recommend himself, but definitely 6 Degrees Golf Networking Group. So thanks so much for joining Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too.